So from Corso. Good morning. I would like advice on the following. Me and my lovely wife are intending to buy a vacant land for farming. We got approval from the bank. Everything is at the attorneys. We requested a copy of the title deed to see if there are any restrictions, which is a good thing to do. After reviewing the deed, we found out that as per deed, it says that the property can't be registered to more than one person, and they're married out of community of property. So that's problem number one. There are also some restrictions that prevents them from keeping pigs, etc. So I'm assuming it's also animal, keeping animals or game or something along those lines. So both the transferring and registration terms are saying that those are old laws and no longer applicable. My question is that can we proceed to sign and take their word for it? In future, will we have recourse if there is a problem with whatever we want to do? I can provide the snippet of the deed for more clarity.
Sure, Coach. You definitely stretching my brain to a limit here. I think I'm curious about which area this property is, because I have seen title deeds with the weirdest things, very old archaic things. I mean, I've recently seen a few title deeds. We have weirdly, there are quite a few evictions in the Brits area. And on a lot of the farms in Brits, the title deeds still contain quite a bit of Dutch, which I mean, I'm Afrikaans, and my Dutch is actually quite in line with my hair color and my eye color. I'm quite relatively comfortable around Dutch, but I still don't really get it. So there are parts of title deeds that are basically not understandable, but it's still enforceable. It could still very well be part of the title deed, and you can't just make things disappear in a title deed. You'll have to apply to the registrar for corrections on that. So what I would suggest for you, first of all, there's a lot of ways to deal with not being able to own a property registered to more than one person. That sounds bizarre, I must say. I don't think I've ever personally seen a title deed like that. But then again, like I say, I am not a conveyancer. I flunked the conveyancing exam as spectacularly as only I can. So I won't hold myself out to be a conveyancer in any way. And I've seen weird things on title deeds. But how to correct that is actually very doable on application to the registrar, and it can be done. If it's something completely bizarre, but it's not something that can be fixed by the registrar in terms of the title deed, you might have to approach a court. And I've seen that a few times. If there are restrictions in terms of a title deed that actually makes no sense, you can approach a court to compel the registrar to make those amendments. So it can be done. But I am so sorry to all our colleagues that's listening to us right now. Forgive me. You know, I am one of the most collegial attorneys out there, but hear me out. I wouldn't take an attorney's word on something like this unless it's in writing and there's an undertaking to something like that. If I were you, practically, we can obviously do something like register the farm in a company where you both are, both spouses are shareholders and directors of the company, something like that. If that's not the plan and that's not what you want to do, and the conveyancers are adamant, don't worry, guys, you're going to be able to farm and all of this is going to be perfectly fine. I would be fine with that, but then I would like to see an undertaking from the attorneys, an indemnity that should the transfer take place, you will be able to conduct farming activities. You will be able to register the property in both your names. And should any of that go wrong, you put it in the attorney's hands to fix them. If somebody is willing to put their name on something or indemnify you from any risk, then obviously I would be comfortable with that. But I would have a very long conversation with the conveyancers. And before you sign the transfer documents, make sure that you've ticked the boxes on that and you know that you can register in both your names. And if not, at least have an agreement between the two of you that would close that loop. And especially with the farming activities, I mean, if you limit it to not keeping pigs, it might be wider, and that sort of ruins it when it comes to farming. So I would definitely get something in writing and an indemnity, and then I would be more comfortable. But it's unfortunate. We will actually have to see the title deeds. So maybe for a bit more detail, you're welcome to contact SSLR or BSA. Let's have a quick look for you, and we can give you a proper answer, but we will have to see the title deed to be able to comment properly.
Yeah,
did I catch it, Bruno?
Yeah, no, that's perfect. And I mean, this is something that I'm sure conveyancers deal with also on a daily basis. So
yeah,
it's probably a very good answer for them. If there are any problems, my suggestion to Kotso is revert to us next week. Give us the feedback, and if push comes to shove, we'll even grab one of the conveyancers and like bring them on the show or make them voice note us or do something.
That's clever. That's clever.